Hello everyone, I'm Edward and I will do a short demo of current 0.1 version of Zefire app, Zefire, however you want to call it. The main goal of this app is to help you on your path towards financial independence. I would say like key features or key things that it tries to do is to show you what expenses you already covering from your investments by applying safety withdrawal rate, which is typically like 4%, but you would be able to adjust it in the settings. And also helps you track your lifestyle inflation, because for each expense, if you track it monthly, you will see if amounts are fluctuating, if they are growing, right? And it will help you kind of keep the things under control a bit more. And another thing is it helps you to see your key numbers in one place, how much you invested this year, right? Your monthly withdrawal number, which is essentially the number that you can safely withdraw from your portfolio, how it changes over time, right? Your portfolio value and your expenses, right? Also, this is available for mobile, so if you open up the website on mobile, it will work just fine. Layout will be just slightly different. Anyways, currently let's go to the demo of the functionality. The first thing I think we should start with is adding expenses. And here let's go first with the utility bill, right? Expense category name, it means something that is not like one single expense that, I don't know, I went shopping to the shop X, like on transaction level. This is really on category, like how much I spent on this particular category of expenses during this month. And yeah, overall this is meant to be more of a bird view rather than like on transaction level. How I usually use it, I use my budgeting app or my bank account, and I extract how much I spend on each category, and then I update it here each month. But if we go into utility bill specifically, and let's say we spend 500 each month on that, and let's say we start paying this amount from, I don't know, from the start of the 2024. What is interesting about utility bill is that utility bill is a recurring expense, right? It doesn't fluctuate over time, and it's where we divide our expenses between recurring and variable, right? Utility bill is a recurring expense. From month to month, amount we spend on it doesn't change. So we pick a recurring here. The next, let's add some another category. Let's go for shopping. Let's say the last month, which is September. In September we spent 600 on that, and it's a variable expense, right? Because on shopping we spend different amount each month. It's not a recurring expense. It's something that we call variable expense. Let's say for groceries we spend 650. It's also variable expense. And let's also add a rent. This number is not supposed to be like realistic or whatever, just as an example. And rent is also recurring expense. And let's also add something for, let's say, subscriptions. Something relatively small. I will just put 100. It doesn't have to be realistic either, but it is what it is. So we have our expenses. They are sorted from smallest to largest. Total, as an example, we spent 3.5K per month on our expenses. Let's log what is like value of our portfolio. It means whatever we have invested in stocks, ETFs, bonds, whatever, like liquid assets essentially. And let's say we have 250K USD, and the date where it's actualized, let's say it's this date. It doesn't really matter that much right now. Yeah, so what does change here? We see that if value of our portfolio of 250K, it means that we can relatively safely withdraw 800 each month, roughly, right? Which is our monthly withdrawal number. How it's calculated, I think you all can simply apply like simple math, that we get portfolio value, we multiply it by 4%, and then we divide it by 12. In settings, you would be able to change this number to whatever you want. If you want a more safest number, you can put a 3% there or like if you will plan to work part-time, you can go for high number. But I mean, safe withdrawal rate on its own, it's like pretty big topic, so we're not gonna dive right now into it. What is a reasonable number, what is not. You can also add here to this monthly withdrawal number any passive income you have. I don't know, like if you rent in a flat, or I don't know, you have something that is relatively passive source of income. Right now I will keep it empty, but in general you can add like rent here, put 100, I don't know, let's say 1K, it will appear over here. Yeah, so whenever you update your passive income, the total amount of it adds up to your monthly withdrawal number. And yeah, obviously you would be able to cover more of your expenses if you have additional sources of passive income. So right now I will remove it for simplicity. And the last number on the sidebar is monthly investment plan, right? This is a very simple thing. This is something that you set, just amount that you plan to invest each month into your portfolio. Sort of like your target number for each month, how much you want to invest. Let's say it's 3K. I'm not saying it's realistic, not realistic, whatever, just a number. We covered the left sidebar, portfolio value, monthly withdrawal number, monthly investment plan number, and we can get to investment expenses because something has changed here. But before we do so, let's also do a couple of updates here, so to see how to update the values. So for instance, our portfolio right now has changed. It's actual, let's say from this date. You can update it like this. So whenever you like do review how much you have in your brokerage, how much you have in your total investments, you can go here and update the number. Like this, we see that monthly withdrawal number actually bumped up to 1K100. In order to update the monthly investment plan, you can just simply update the value. There's nothing special over here. There is no history of updates or anything. And then, okay, we are going to expenses, and you obviously noticed after we set portfolio value and updated portfolio value, there are some changes happening over here. We see that some of the expenses we already can cover. We can cover subscriptions. On top of that, with our monthly withdrawal number, we can cover utility bill, right? And we can cover 85% of shopping, right? Overall, this 1K100 number is distributed to all these three expenses from smallest to largest. What is interesting here, if we set our monthly investment plan, we have this insights button, and when you click on it, you will see how much extra you need to invest in order to fully cover this expense. This is setting you kind of the next target, that the next goal on your investment journey. So what's going on here is that, okay, on average you spend on shopping $600 monthly. You generate from your portfolio 1K100 monthly, but you need to generate around $90 more per month. you need to have invested extra 27K. Well, if you plan to invest 4K, it will take you 7 months, right, to reach this goal. So this is already something, sounds like good goal to set for a year. Let's say in 2024, I want to cover my smaller expenses like subscriptions, utility bill, but I also want to fully cover shopping from my investments. So this is what our insights for. So this is in a nutshell how the application works. There is also a settings, which is currently in demo mode are disabled, but in future, if you subscribe for the beta, you would be able to set the withdrawal rate if you want to have something more conservative or more aggressive. If you're looking towards partial independence and you plan to work part-time, even if you're retired, you can set your currency. And also one of the things is you can log your investments. You can log your investments, right? Let's say this month I invested this amount. Next month, like month before, I invested that amount. So you can update it over here. Yeah, so this is pretty much it for the current version of the Zefire app. And some of the next features we plan to work on is introduction of goals. So you won't be only focused on covering expense by expense, but also be able to set some meaningful targets like invest amount of money. I don't know, like have $500,000 invested and stuff like that. Another thing we plan is to add some recommendation on, based on your investment history, what you should set as monthly investment plan. So we plan to do the sort of prioritization of your expenses. So first of all, let's say you don't want to cover your expenses from smallest to largest. What if you want to focus on rent or something like that, right? You will be able to rearrange them here, and you will cover them by priority rather than you will cover them from smallest to largest. So this is something also we want to add. I would also show you how it looks like for my account. This is not USD numbers, by the way, ignore the currency. So for me, I exactly use it like the same way. I cover like smaller expenses from investments, right? And then I see, okay, then we have this utility bill payment. If I open the insights, I also see, okay, this is what amount I have to invest extra to cover the utility bill. And I actually did set it as a goal for the year to fully cover this one. Also, if I open up the groceries or shopping, I see how the value changes from month to month. If we are experiencing like inflation, lifestyle inflation in any of these categories. I also can track amount of investments I did this year. So you can see, okay, in 24, 100 here, 100 there. This is a bit of an outlier. So you can keep track of how much you actually invested during the year, because your data can be spread out across different brokerages, and it's kind of harder to keep track of how much you actually invested during the year. Are you on track with your goals or not? Also, when we get back to the demo mode, there is a settings page. In demo mode is not available, but what you would be able to use it for is to set the currency and to set the desired withdrawal rate that will be used in all calculations, whether you prefer something conservative like 3% or you prefer something a bit aggressive, 5, 6, 7, whatever, because you plan to work part-time, even if you're retired or so. you will be able to change it here. And also, as I mentioned, this app is can be used on mobile. You can access the URL. If you find it useful, follow the URL in the description, or just go to Zefire app/demo to check the app. Yep, thank you.